Hey guys, welcome to Dog Skills. And I'm going to be lying down today because I'm still having to listen to my body. I'm a little tired. I've had, my daughter and I kind of had one thing after the other. We had COVID and then a sinus infection and then, and then I think we had the flu. So I'm still recovering from that. So we'll see how long I can last today. But I wanted to try to show up again for my weekly live on Wednesday. So welcome to Dog Skills. Again, it's the human end of dog training, and it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we welcome you to show up to learn about all kinds of wonderful things to expand your relationship. And today, the topic is really going to be about conscious awareness and how to take our relationship, with our dog to the next level. And I invite you to comment below, to share this video with others, to help other people expand their relationship with their dogs, and to really take this on. And the more you comment, the more we can expand, this awareness to yourself and to other people. Because as we're, having this conversation, then we're allowing it to be made, or for us to request that from the universe, right? Because what we say, what we speak, what we believe on a continual basis becomes our reality. So I'm going to ask some deeper questions today. So rather than just focusing on the technique of dog training, and those tools, which I think are important, they are really hard to apply if we haven't worked on some of the energetic level of dog training, or what's underneath there, or the thoughts or emotions around it. So the first question that I invite you to try on is to just think about in your head, like, something that your dog is doing that you're not really enjoying or liking. And then I want you to ask yourself this question: what does it bring up for you, or what thoughts or stories do you create behind that? So for instance, if you call your dog and your dog doesn't come, do you have the story that your dog is stubborn? Or if you've been working on training to sit with your dog and it's just not working, do you have the story that your dog is a slow learner? Or maybe the story is more about you, like, I don't know what I'm doing about dog training and I'm just failing. Like, what are some of those thoughts? What are some of those, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use, because I'm going to channel this call today mostly, is, really channeling what I feel I've been wanting to bring out, and what the universe is wanting me to say to everyone that I have not spoken a lot lately. And it's the internal dialogue. Like, what is the internal dialogue that's going on in your mind when your dog is doing something that just you don't really like? And if you can get awareness of that, can you then take that internal dialogue or that communication and then let it kind of dissolve into the background? Like, not let it be the dominating factor in your mind, right? So if you're trying to train your dog to come and your internal dialogue is, my dog is stubborn, and that's loud and it's clear and you fully bought into it, then as you do the training and the tools, you could actually sabotage your progress, right? Because you're going to want to prove that story to be true. Like, look, my dog is stubborn. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people before I started, studying more about the human in a dog training, where I would give them every tool in the book. This is what you need to do. And they still weren't getting results. Like, there was this one dog that I worked with that was really, really, really reactive on the leash. Dogs, people, cars, leaves blowing. And no matter what tools I gave these people, it seemed like they were all sabotaged, and the dog just kept being this way. And when I took the leash and I started doing the training without the owners around, the dog responded. I had it laying on the side of the road on a tree lawn. Cars were passing. And the dog was pretty calm. And for those of you who know me, I train on that deeper level, so I'm not shocking the dog or hitting them or yelling at them or anything. I'm really just trying to teach them that, hey, you're safe, right? So if the owners per se, like, I didn't know that stuff then, I don't really know what was going on internally more than that. There was just kind of like a lot of victim mentality going on of just like, my dog is just reactive, and I would show them what to do, and the next week they would then tell me another story about how their dog was reactive, and I would give them more tools and we'd practice them, and then the next week they would tell me more stories about how their dog was reactive. So if you can see what I'm talking about, that story of reactivity was so dominant in their brain that no matter what happened, they couldn't get out of that circle. So this is something that is really not talked a lot about in the dog training realm, and I think it's so important, is realizing those stories and what you're creating on an energetic level and giving yourself permission to letting them go. And the first step with creating that is just awareness, right? So you notice that you have that thought, whatever it is, about your dog. And then you want to then ask yourself, like, is it true, or do I really want to buy into this? Is this really serving our relationship? And if, your thought is, my dog is a loving, kind, wonderful dog, then that's probably something that, is serving your relationship and probably is a really good idea to just kind of attach to. But if you're creating any thoughts on, like, my dog is stubborn, my dog won't listen to me, my dog is so reactive, I can't walk my dog on the leash, I'm trying to think what are some, other common things that a lot of people say. I have heard some people say my dog is stupid, or my dog is just untrainable, my dog is really hyper, my dog is slow to learn, or I don't understand about dog training, it's new to me, I don't get it, it doesn't make sense, I don't know how to do it, I'm clicking at the wrong time, I just can't seem to get all the tools together, I keep messing up, I'm failing as a dog trainer, I'm failing as a dog owner, I'm not doing a good enough job, on and on and on and on and on. So if this just seems kind of like over the top of your head and you don't know where to start with it, the place that I would start with is just journaling down. So, like, have maybe a pen and paper near you, and then and write down what comes up for you when your dog starts reacting in a certain way. So if you just like start to, running and barking towards the door, when somebody comes over, get out your journal and write down what it is. Oh my gosh, my dog is so loud, my dog's obnoxious, my dog is so vocal, my dog has so much to say, my dog wants to defend the territory, my dog doesn't feel safe at home, he wants people to leave, he can't stand other people being around, my dog is aggressive, my dog is fearful, whatever it is. And then again, you're going to ask yourself, is this really true? And sometimes you might say yes. So then maybe you want to ask yourself, is this a thought that I want to hold on to? And is it going to serve our relationship in the long run? And then if not, then you want to kind of allow that to just be released into the universe. So I'm going to actually do a process with you right now to help you release that. But I also invite you to even think of, a lot of times these thoughts that you're having about your dog are also prominent thoughts that you're having in other areas of your life. So if you're having the thought, that I'm failing with applying the tools of dog training, then you might also just have a thought in general that I'm failing in life. Or if you have the thought that I'm not doing a good enough job, then you might actually just have underneath that a feeling of just not good enough as a mom, at work, with your significant other. A lot of times these thoughts trickle in other areas of our lives. And if you look at that bigger picture and you release it from there, then you're creating this vortex for more change to come into your life. And I've had a lot of, people that I've worked with where I've done the belief change model. And usually I've done those with clients that really are stuck with creating progress, and it just seems like they just can't seem to do it. I'm gonna take a drink here. I'm gonna share with you, before we do this process together, like I said, I'm still kind of recovering, so you're probably gonna see me sipping, and it just feels really comfortable and loving for me today to just lie down and get up when I need to drink. So there was this client that I worked with. His dog was fearful, and it was an Australian Shepherd. If I'm remembering correctly, I've worked with so many people, so sometimes I don't remember the breeds always extremely accurately, but he would have somebody come over and the dog would be really reactive, and then he would go hike with his dog and his dog would bark and react, and there was somewhat of this lack of forward movement going on. A lot of times when a dog's aggressive, they're just going to kind of do full-blown moving forward type of movement. This dog would kind of freeze and go back when he was barking. So it seemed to just have more fear dominating his life. And in order for a dog to learn, right, we have to be able to train them and give them learning opportunities and situations for them to kind of grasp that concept, right? So, and this is even more true if you work with me through live personalized online dog training, right? Because I'm not even showing up at your house. But imagine if I was and your dog was fearful anyway, your dog's going to be reactive at me. So then here I am trying to train you what to do when your dog is reactive at me. It's very challenging. I've done it, but in fact, I did it for years. So it's so much harder. It's so much easier for me to train you what to do when your dog is not, in that reactive state towards me, which when we do it online, then I can show you videos and teach you exactly what to do, and then have you either apply it together in a training session with, someone that's coming over to your house, or you doing, videos of sessions with other people. So the biggest block that I had with this client, which is a really common one actually, is we had to be able to work with this dog with other people. And I don't remember his, exact core belief or thought. It was something around accepting and receiving support and feeling, a lot of guilt with reaching out and asking for help. So because that belief was so entangled in him, when I would say, okay, I want you to enroll somebody this week that could show up at your house, a friend or a friend of a friend's or a family member or somebody where you could actually do some training with, and that person could stand at a distance and you can work with your dog at a distance with doing the counter conditioning tools that I'm teaching you, because the closer the dog is to the stimulus, the more triggered they're going to be, right? If I have a spider and the spider's like right in front of you, and then I say, okay, I want you to learn to have a happy emotional response, and be like, this is too much in my face, like the spider's right here, it's way too close. You're going to want it to be farther away so that the fear isn't so intense, right? So if we have the object be farther away from us so that you have the room to kind of integrate and calm down, then it allows you to create a new emotional response more easily. So by the owner enrolling somebody, then we have the control of how far away that person is, and the dog then has an ability to then build a new emotional response. So if we're someone that's stuck in this belief that we can't ask for help, we can't enroll other people, then the owner is stuck with only doing training on the cold trial. So when something randomly shows up, can you do the new emotional response? So basically it's like, okay, I'm scared of spiders. So the way that I'm going to work with this is only when a spider naturally shows up in my life. It falls in my lap, it starts running across my bed, it is on the floor, and then I'm going to start training my body to have a new response. Well, you can do that, it's just a lot harder because you're on the spot. You haven't prepped yourself. So imagine if you knew the spider was going to show up and you had an internal dialogue that you were working on to change your emotional response by like a mantra or a meditation or a breath work or something like that, then you're going to be already in that state where you're ready to try on that new emotional response. And then the more you practice it in those setups, then the easier it is for you to generalize it over in the cold trials when a spider just randomly shows up in different areas of your life. So I talked to him numerous times about, the importance of enrolling these people, and he's stuck in that belief, right? So we did this belief changing process, and it allowed him to unravel it. And then he literally was like, oh my God, I love enrolling people to ask me to help. In fact, he was like, people are saying yes, like they're wanting to help me. It's been so wonderful. And he's like, I'm actually enjoying this. And the people were loving helping him. It's like when someone gives to us, they're actually receiving something, right? You understand, like when you give to somebody, right, that person feels good for the gift, but don't you usually feel great with giving that to them as long as you're honoring your boundaries and you're not overextending yourself? It feels wonderful, kind of like when I do these free Facebook Lives. I love giving out so much wonderful information for you guys. So by working on those beliefs, they can allow you to then enhance the dog training results you're going to have with your dog on a deeper and higher level. And it will expand you to a higher level of love because you're not projecting all these judgments and stories and just purging them onto your dog anymore. So I'm going to blow my nose here. And then we're going to walk you through belief changing process. So, hold on 1 minute. Just wanted to move the camera away so you didn't have to watch all that. All right. So I welcome you to get comfortable. So you can do this in one spot if you want. I do love NLP. And for those of you who don't know, I am a certified NLP coach. It stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And it is about unraveling ourselves and our limitations within ourselves that can affect our ability to use the training tools that we want. That's how I use it. On a deeper level, NLP is basically rewiring new neural pathways in your brain, allows you to see things in a new perspective, allows you to unravel any emotional blockages that you might have in your life so that you can channel more aliveness, happiness, and expand yourself to the degree that you actually want. So the process we're going to do is called the belief change process. So if you add movement to this, it will kind of go to a higher degree. So they're called anchors. So I invite you to kind of step in like a circle. Okay. So you're going to stay in one spot, and then I'll say, move to the next spot in your circle. So that could either be to your left or to your right. And then you anchor in that new spot until I tell you to move to the next section of your circle, and then you anchor in the new spot, and so forth. So, I want you to step in the first section of the circle, and I want you to think about what is the belief that you want to change that isn't serving you. So, again, it could be I'm failing, I'm not good enough. All of those things. If you have the label of my dog is stubborn, right? That is not going to serve you either. So you could do it around that. You could also take it on a deeper level and be like, okay, if my dog is stubborn, then what does that mean about myself and my world, right? So maybe as you have that projection that my dog is stubborn, then you have the belief within yourself on I don't communicate clearly, or I don't know how to manifest my dreams. I'm lost. I'm confused. It could be so many different things, and it's going to be different for each and every one of you. If that seems too confusing for you, then just take my dog is stubborn and just take it from that more specific sense. If this makes sense, then take it to a broader sense and take that belief not just about your dog, but how it also is affecting all areas of your life. And the first place that I want you to do, or the first step that I want you to do when you're in that anchor, is to check in with your body. Like, what does your body feel like when you have that belief? Where's your tension in your body? Like your neck, your shoulders? Where's there constriction? What other thoughts go along with that belief that are going on in your head? What actions do you do when you have that belief? How do you act? So, I sometimes like to use human examples because I think they're helpful. But also because a lot of this right now, I'm learning with my daughter. So sometimes she'll do something that I get triggered about. Like, she'll call me mean, and then I'll create the story that I'm not being respected. And then underneath that, basically, it's like I'm not doing a good enough job. So I can release that, and then I can embrace something new. That then is like, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Right? She thinks I'm mean. That's interesting. Huh. And then I just don't have that energy behind it. And then I'm less likely to then come from that state of yelling back, criticizing her, putting her down, which fuels fighting, right? Conflicts, back and forthness, power struggles. So when you have that belief, what do? How do you act? Right? So then what I want you to do is step into the next anchor. So off to your right or your left. And then I want you to ask yourself, when I have that belief, or let me change that. Does this belief actually serve me? Is it actually true? So if I believe that I'm not good enough, or that's my belief, right? Is it actually true that I'm not good enough? Or if you're doing it around my dog is stubborn, is it really true that your dog is stubborn? Are you 100% certain that this is true? Is there any doubting of this? And I want you to question and see if there's any doubting of that belief. Like, do you have any capability of seeing that that belief or that story is not true? And can you tap into some of that doubt? I hope so, because it's so exciting when you can see, oh, gee, maybe this isn't true all the time, right? Then from there, I want you to go to the next anchor. And I want you to start seeing yourself releasing that belief. So that old belief. So you could see it going up and away in a balloon, or you could be shooting it with a gun, or it could be going down a river. You could be throwing it away like a ball, burning it in a fire. Whatever feels like is the best way for you to release that belief. So I want you to then take that and allow it to just dissolve and go away. And really fully take that on. Let it out of your body. And then once you've done that, I want you to step out of the circle, and I want you to shake your body, move it around, brush it off. Let that old belief just fully leave every single cell in your body. Just, whew, it doesn't serve you, let it go. And from there, step back in the circle, and I want you to ask yourself, what do you want your new belief to be? So when you're in that new place, what do you want that new belief to be? And I see that someone's on here. I would love for you to answer that question. And if that feels too big for you right now, then just say hi so I know that you're here. So what do you want that new belief to be? If it's not good enough, could it be I'm perfect, complete, and whole just the way I am? Or I love myself every day? Or I have compassion for myself? Or I have compassion for myself and others? I don't know. It's different for everyone, and it can't be something that I can tell you. It's got to be something that resonates with you. And you really want to think on that higher level a broad belief, rather than something just like my dog is smart. You want it to be really nice and big so that it energetically holds a really big container, so that when you step outside of here and then you apply your dog training, you're training more on that energetic realm, and it's super easy for you to apply the tools. So, a lot of times, some people might think, well, if I have the belief that I'm not good enough, I'm just going to go to I am good enough. You can go to the complete opposite, but I would really allow yourself to just open up to any possibility. What is it that you want? So, for instance, that example with that client of mine where he was closed off with asking other people. Like I said, I don't remember his exact belief that we changed. I think it was something like, it's inconvenient to ask others for support, or it's wrong of me to ask for help, something like that. And then his new belief was, as I receive support, I actually help others. It was something like that, or similar to that. So, if you don't know what that new belief is right now, that's okay. You can wonder about it, and then you can re-listen to this or do the process on your own later. And if you're ready now, then take in that new belief. And I want you to say it out loud or write it down or whatever it is that's going to really help it be anchored into your body. And I want you to see it radiating into every single cell. So get it into every single cell in your body, every single body part. Just really let it radiate in so that your body is fully receiving it, and it's allowing a great level of change to happen into your life. So breathe it in, see it radiating into every single cell of your being, really taking it in, allowing yourself to receive it. So that's a full body yes, and your body's able to say, yes, my new cells receive this new belief. And then once you've done that, then you want to step into the next circle. And in that space, you want to radiate that new belief out into the universe. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a really spiritual person. I'm not very religious. I don't go to church. I do believe that there's a higher being out there. None of that really matters because each and every one of you is different. Some of you are going to go to church. Some of you aren't. Some of you believe in God. Some of you don't. Some of you are more spiritual. Some of you are not. Some of you believe more in the universal perspective. Whatever it is, some of you may have a harder time believing in a higher power. It doesn't really matter. But the idea is that you're taking that belief and you're communicating it outward. So if you believe in a higher being, like the universe or God or a higher spirit, then you're going to send it out. If you don't believe in that, then you're just going to project the energy out into the room and into the world. You're basically announcing, like, this is your new belief and you want everyone to know about it. And if you're spiritual, then you're going to take it to that spiritual level and voice it out. Okay? And you're expelling it outward and allowing the entire, universe to receive it so that they know that this is your new belief. Okay? So feel yourself doing that. And then I would like to invite you to step into the circle where you started. And do you feel that new belief in here? Or is that old belief still really strong for you? If that old belief is still really strong for you, then I want you to do the whole process again. And I really went in depth in it and just really deep with it. You could do this process, in just a few seconds. Bing, 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 bing. You don't have to do it as lengthy as I did if you don't want to. Now, if you feel like this new belief is fully anchored in and it feels really prominent in your body, then what we want to do, which is future pacing, we want to do what's called going to the future and really integrating it. So in that space, you're going to then look at when you get off this call. So Facebook Live is over or the Facebook replay is over. And you're looking into the future and you're seeing, when I have this new belief, how is my life different? How am I acting differently? What do I see around me that's different? What thoughts do I have that's different? How does my body feel? So remember, initially you probably had all this tension in certain areas of your body with that old belief. So as you have that new one, then what is it that's channeling within you that looks different now? What thoughts are different? What are you feeling in your body that's different? Is there some places that are relaxed? And if there are, what are those places? What are the places that are relaxed, right? I know I'm releasing a lot during this call. That I am on the mend. So then you want to future pace it to like an hour from now. Or, it's really beneficial to think of the next time you're training your dog, right? So you're here training your dog. Your old belief comes up and you're like, oh, I remember my new belief. How do you train differently now? What thoughts do you have that are different in your head? What actions do you do that are different? What movements that you do that are different? What do you see around yourself that's different? And most of all, how does your dog respond differently to you? Because if you change your thoughts, not only do you change your actions, but you change an energetic realm around you or the molecules around you, and your dog feels that, and your dog actually starts responding to you differently as well. So visualize how that changes, and then you can future pace it, to a month from now and go all the way to like 6 months from now. And I invite you as you're pacing this into the future, that you take in as many senses as you can. I just love like how we have like this light reflecting in the back. I think it adds a really nice spiritual touch to this call. So if you are associated with the picture, then you're going to see what you would normally see if you don't look in the mirror. So you're going to be seeing your dog, your shoes, your hands, etc. If you're disassociated, then you're going to see your face and all these things that you wouldn't normally see unless you'd look in a mirror. So you want to be associated, and you want to add as many colors as you can so that everything that you're seeing is really big and bright. And you want to add in as many senses. So what do you smell? What do you feel kinesthetically? What do you hear? Like if you're using clicker, do you hear the clicker? Do you feel the treats in your hand? Do you feel your feet on the ground? Do you feel your dog eating the treats from your hand? Do you hear your dog making any noises with his paws or his body? you want to take all that in because NLP says the more senses you take in, the more your brain creates this to be reality, and also the more it kind of gets filed into your long-term memory. So really, really future pace it. And then I also invite you, as you're future pacing, to then even go farther and kind of, if you believe in a higher power, to then connect to that higher power or your higher self and ask yourself, what is the meaning of this? What is being communicated to me on a higher level? And what comes to you? What gifts is your dog giving you as a result of you transforming this belief, right? Because we're all here on a planet for a reason, and I think our dogs are not just here for us to just have a good time with us. I really think they are to teach us, to grow us, to bend us, to be like a spiritual angel that's come down on the planet. And if that's too far out for you, that's fine. You don't have to buy into that. That's what I personally advocate and believe. And if you have that communication and you're willing to look at it, it can really help you with the dog training. So I have somebody on here. Oh, I would love to know who you are. If you're willing to speak up, if you want to respond later, that's cool too. Just would love to connect with you. We can. So this belief change process, again, allows you to come at dog training in a whole new light, a whole new perspective with more of a clear head. Another way of kind of thinking about it is you're now responding to dog training instead of reacting. Because when we buy into our stories or our beliefs that aren't serving us, we tend to get into a reactive state. So if my daughter says I'm mean and I don't allow myself to step out of that reactivity or out of those stories or thoughts or beliefs that I have around that, then it's very easy for me to fight with her. And I think that human example is easy for us to relate to, and some of us forget, like, it's the same thing on the dog level. Your dogs can't talk to you and tell you that they're mean, but they can bite you, they can growl at you, they can choose to not sit when you ask them to sit, they can choose to run away when you call them, they can pull on the leash, they can pee in your house. There's so many things that they can do. And if you just come from that energy of control and fix it, you're missing the bigger picture of learning here, because your relationship with your dog can go so much deeper if you want it to. It doesn't have to, but it can. And that's what this call is about. So if you can become less triggered by your dog and train your dog at the same time, how much more love can you let in your life, and how much more conscious can that relationship with your dog become? And as I'm asking you these questions, I would love for you to, comment or write what comes up for you, even if it's just during the replay, because I'll respond to every single one of them, and it is going to allow yourself to really take this on a deeper level. And I really invite you to do that, to transform your relationship with your dog from just do what I say, fix it mode, to being a team, looking at your self-reflections. What is my dog's behavior saying about me? What is my dog's behavior saying about my dog emotionally, rather than the stories and blah, blah, blah junk that I'm creating? If my dog bit me, I can immediately be like, my dog's aggressive, my dog's mean, right? Excuse me. Or I can look at it from the level of, my dog is communicating something to me emotionally, right? And what is that? Did my dog want me to back off? Did my dog want space? Is my dog uncomfortable when I did something? And can you have this relationship where you listen to your dog and you listen to the things that come up for you so that you work together and come off as a team? And if this stuff is new for you and it's kind of way over your head, I would, say, listen to this again and again. Watch this recording multiple times to let it, really sink in, and ask questions. Ask away, because I am here to help you, and I do want to help you have that deeper relationship with your dog if you want that. And of course, I'm here to help you with the things that are, that your dog is doing that aren't serving you, biting or pulling on the leash or not coming. There are tools that we do to change that behavior and to create it to be more congruent with your goals and more team-oriented. And I can help you with that. I just also apply this energetic realm with it too, so that you get more concrete and long-lasting results. And if this is something that, feels of interest to you, like you're really inspired about it, then I would definitely say, click on one of the links below. There's a link where you can schedule a free phone chat with me. There's a link where you can learn more about the services that I offer. And you might just be a really great fit to work one-on-one with me. I love doing live personalized online dog training, and my most favorite program right now is the Dream Dog program. And in this program, we really work on getting your dog to respond really well on the leash and off the leash. And of course, we're going to add into that human end, that we talked about today if we need to really help you get good results. I don't always dive into that with my clients, but if they run into blocks, etc., with applying the tools, then we're going to look deeper on what that is so that you can get those, long-lasting results. And the cool thing with doing the live personalized online dog training is I'm really getting you to get your dog to listen. It's empowering you to get your dog to respond, because it is about coaching you, right? When I come to the house, I'm an added distraction. Your dog's either really excited to see me or doesn't want me there. And that can take some time to get the dog to then calm down before we can even dive into the training that we need to do to get the results. So it does sometimes actually take more time when I do the in-person training, and eats up a lot of time. And a lot of people that I do the online training with really say they get a lot of added value, because we're not wasting our time with getting the dog to settle every time I come over. We're just diving in right away with teaching the owner what to do, practicing it right then and there to get the dog to respond, and the owner then is getting their dog to respond immediately to them. So it's really, really, really empowering. And if there's anything that, we need to look at outside of the home, definitely have you do homework videos, and you can videotape yourself doing the dog training, so I can make sure that you're applying them outside of your home or when I'm not around, and we can screen share those live together, which really, really enhances a lot of learning, because you're watching yourself doing the training instead of constant in the moment feedback. Right? So it's really, 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 really empowering. So if you're curious about it, if you're wondering about it, definitely click on one of those links. If this is really, really exciting to you and you're like, this is a yes, I really like Joanna, I think we're going to be a great match, then definitely, click on the link to set up a free phone call with me. I would love to chat with you. And I hope that you have a really, really happy new year. I hope these tools will help you expand your consciousness and your love with you and your dog. Bye, guys.